Like many of us, Jeffrey here was one who adopted the manifestation philosophy. He tried it out, didn't work at all, made him frustrated as to why his high vibration, affirmation, positive thoughts, visualization was not bringing him opportunity. Why weren't things just landing at his feet? And because of this frustration, he wanted to find a different approach, which is why he took the sovereign man strategy. Once applied, he actually started to see results, and he was actually able to compound his results. And if you haven't seen the first part to this video where I talk about the dangers of manifestation, I'll have the link pop up right on the screen over here. Watch that first before you watch this. Let me begin by introducing you to RAS. This is the reticular activating system. This function inside your brain is responsible for preventing you from completely losing your mind. Your brain on any given day is being fed millions upon millions of data points that you cannot process every single one. So what your brain does is it, or rather this function, is it filters the things that you do not need to focus on. It is all dependent on your focus. What you focus on will determine the filter and what it is that your brain will cast out as unnecessary and what it aims to point out as necessary. We have two Jeffreys. We have Jeffrey A and Jeffrey B. You can tell the difference because one of them is smiling and he's in a great mood, and the other one is a real grumpy goose. Each one has a focus. And each one has their conscious attention, their psychic energy being filtered through. For the first Jeffrey, let's say that he is one that has done a lot of personal development, healing work, and overall he has a very high self-concept. Is generally positive. He's not filled with shame or anger. He also sees the world as a combination of chaos and order, and he doesn't fully just absolve himself of responsibility. So he's able to, let's say, take responsibility. Now, if we contrast Jeffrey A with Jeffrey B, let's say he has a very low self-concept. He doesn't feel himself good enough. He is not smart, not able to figure things out, not worthy of attention, or is extremely afraid of failure, or maybe afraid of success. So he is riddled with fear. And he doesn't know how to regulate it. He also sees the world as unfair. He sees some people as more favored than others, and therefore explains why that he is where he is and unable to get the things that he desires. Now, I want to draw a line signifying the course of their life, the length in time before they inevitably hit that dead end. Okay. If we imagine, let's go back to Jeffrey A. If this internal mapping of his psyche is not dumped in the shadow, he has contended with these difficult challenges inside of him, why he has a lot of shame, or why he has deep-seated anger, why he has envy towards other people, all the blockages that he has, let's say, managed them enough. He's regulated himself, which then has changed and elevated his perception of himself, his self-concept, which in turn provided a healthier worldview. Along his path, if we bring in the RAS, that function of the brain, what is it now going to filter in? Along the way, he will begin to notice that he runs into better people, nicer people. He noticed he's been lucky just as much as he's been unlucky. He will also notice more of what he has gained in life rather than lost. If we now shift over to Jeffrey B, because of his lack of internal growth and confronting those aspects of himself, he will only notice those that judge him. He will also only see himself being unlucky. And he will also notice more of what he has lost. Every single individual has a different composition in terms of filter that then their conscious attention passes through. The second part to this is the compound effect. The compound effect is as you do more of the internal work, when you do your internal work, that in turn will clear up, dissolve certain limiting beliefs inside your filter. Which in turn will change what you see in the world, followed by signals, then back to internal work. Signals are essentially as you're moving along in your life, it's not going to be crystal clear, perfect all the time. You are going to run into challenges again. You can run into past pains that are resurfacing or future traumatic events that occur in life. You're going to run through a lot of suffering. And so you go through this consistent cycle of signal, internal work, cleans the filter, then you see the world in a different way, and by proxy, you see yourself in a different way and your relation to the outside world, which then provides more signal in the future, and you compound this growth. The compound effect, though, can work regressively. And so imagine if you do not do internal work. Now your complexes, your shadow, your envy, your bitterness, your frustrations, all the things that we are not tending to muddy up the filter, which then muddies up your view of the world, which then changes your signals. Now you will only see situations that reaffirm that belief system. Because I've said this before, and it's kind of a sad reality of human beings, that even if we hold an identity that is a detriment to us, we will do whatever it takes to hold it, to protect it. The quote from Carl Jung always rings true for me when he said, "Man will do almost anything to avoid facing their own souls," and it is absolutely true. We will fight to defend it, even if we know it is not providing anything for us. And the longer we do it, the more it calcifies, which is why as you get older, it becomes harder and harder to change. Before I continue, if my approach is resonating with you, down below I have a link to my waitlist, which is for the Sovereign Brotherhood community. This is for the men out there who have tried the alpha approach, tried the super heart-heavy progressive approach, or the pure spiritual. And none of them have been working well because they have been hyper-dominating in one area. And so my approach is the combination of all three, which I believe launches people into the frame of kingship, mastering your inner world. Therefore, it can multiply and affect your outer world in a way that feels meaningful. My work is also heavily inspired by depth psychology and the years of combat training that I have done and battle tested these methods throughout my entire life, and have actually seen the results in the clients I work with as well. Click the link, read more about it, and if you connect to it, join the waitlist. In order to change what you see out there, you have to change what you see in here, which has been my biggest frustration with these videos on manifestation. Because very rarely do they ever get to the deep heart of the problem. It's always just a matter of just changing the thoughts in your head and just putting yourself in a good buzz that now all of a sudden you're going to start noticing differences. But in reality, it's going to be done through shadow work. The most difficult thing you can do, obviously alone, which is why I'm opening up a community, but that's why they avoid bringing it up, because it's just too difficult to deal with and it doesn't have a nice ring to it online. Facing your past. What is it that's been keeping you stuck, that's affecting the way you see yourself and the world around you. Regulate your emotions. Men aren't really often taught how to regulate their emotions. It's either through suppression or through rumination, allowing them to sit in their feelings for far too long, which is actually not good. It's a regressive state. Spot your repeated patterns. We're all in loop patterns, as I call it. Thoughts, moving pictures, emotions, all wrap and cycle together into a narrative, into a story that then acts itself out through action. And we all have these loop patterns. There are loop patterns that are progressive for your life, and there are loop patterns that are regressive for your life. And you have to understand, where are they regressive? Why are they as such? And then what are we going to do to actually begin to dissolve the grip it has on you? Challenge your worldview regularly. Never get fully solidified in one. Even me, as somebody who does this and coaches individuals, guides men, I always leave room for if there is new information that comes to light that has to now adjust the way I approach my method and my strategies. I'm completely open to doing that, because the more you solidify, the more it integrates with your sense of self and your identity. And so now, if there's overwhelming evidence that goes against that view, you're not going to, like I said earlier, you are not going to want to challenge it. And then you've completely lost the plot. You are no longer in truth. In my next video, I'm going to go farther into shadow work for men, and what is it that you can do to actually enter into your dark place and actually confront these memories, experience these emotions, and begin the healing process. And actually, it is in that dark place that you will find your meaning. You will find your purpose, which is what men crave and we desire. So subscribe to the channel. This way you get notified on that upload. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next one.